Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International. What we're going to look at today is a kit from Platz. It's their 1/72 T2 CCV. It was a variation of the T2 used for test and development with some unusual features on it. Let's have a look inside the box, see what we get. The main thing you notice about this one straight off is there's a ventral canard in here. So basically it has the two canards left and right on the sides there, and there's a ventral one as well. So it'll certainly look different. And quite eye-catching colours. Information on the box itself, just pictures, details. On the bottom here, there's the painting scheme, mostly white, big red stripes. It's going to stand out quite nicely. So let's have a look inside. It's a normal top opening box, which looks quite good. We've got everything's inside one bag. We've got the instructions, got the decals. So there's a couple of sheets in there, some nice coloured decals. Got more pictures of Platz. Do quite a few variants of the T2. There's pictures of them. You'll see reviews of most of them on our site. They also do F-15s as well, Japanese Air Force F-15s. So those look good. So I'll just open up this bag and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so everything came in resealable bags, which is kind of neat. The clear parts, one sprue, they look quite nice. Obviously everything we're going to have a close look at in a second. Basically it's the standard T2 kit with some extras for the changes to this aircraft. We'll go through the instructions, have a close look at these parts, but as per normal they look to be basically as good as anything you get from Hasegawa and Tamiya. I really like the Platz kits. They're really high standard, nicely detailed. A couple of parts came off the sprues in transit, but they all look good. And then basically a standard kit with some extra parts. And like I said, we've got the nice decal sheet. We'll show that in the video. In the instructions, we'll go through the instructions a step at a time. There'll be all the images you see in this video will also be on the website in high resolution, so go there to see all the pictures plus more pictures. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to get updates when we do new ones. And here's the instructions. Very usual Platz style, very similar to Hasegawa and some Tamiya ones. We'll go through these a step at a time, have some close-ups of the parts involved, and see what they look like. And some nice. We'll go through the decal option as well. It's a single decal option on this one for the CCV. Okay. We'll start off with putting up pictures of the main sprues while I give a bit of a background to this kit. This kit is obviously based on Platz's T2 kit, which there's been a couple of boxings of this in different variants already. This particular aircraft was actually the third produced, so it's one of the early ones, which means it's unarmed. So the sprues, there's a couple of sprues that have weapons and pylons on them, which you can go into your spares box. The kit itself contains 85 plastic parts on 6 sprues, 7 clear parts on 2 clear sprues, although the 2 sprues are actually connected so they can't rub against one another, 1 decal sheet, an 8-page instruction sheet. There's also 6 clear parts and 30 plastic parts for your spares box as well. Overall, the detail on all the sprues is pretty good. Small attachment points, ejector pin marks are all nice and out of the way. Basically what you've come to expect from Platz. It's all pretty good stuff. So let's have a look at step 1 on the instructions. Step 1, as you can see, starts in the traditional way with the cockpit. The cockpit tub, as you can see here, has a bit of detail on the sides, but you have decals to put in there. The instrument panels do have detail on them, and you could either paint that or you could put decals either on the top or remove the detail and put them on. All in all, it looks pretty good, and if you had your own seat belts, it would look quite nice. Step 2 is about the canopy. The clear parts themselves are nice and clear and they look good. You get a canopy rail, and the other part of it is putting together the air intakes. See, there's some nice detail on those as well. Okay, step 3 is putting the fuselage halves together. I'll run one of the fuselage halves across the screen there. As you can see, there's nicely recessed detail on it. The engine intakes that you built in step 2 go on at this stage, and obviously you trap the cockpit that you've already made. That goes in between the two halves, and you add a instrument combing into the cockpit. Step 4 only adds 3 parts actually. 2 of them, as you can see here, they go underneath the fuselage. A lot of detail on that big part there, and the nose undercarriage bay goes in as well. And also a piece on the side where on the armed version of the T2 the gun would go, but obviously this is the unarmed version, so you just get this blanking plate instead. Step 5 is a bit busy. The wings go on, a single piece sort of top of the wings goes on, and then the 2 underneath halves of the wings go on. The 2 tail planes go on the back as well, and then you fit the last ejector seat, and the canopy goes on in either the closed or open position. Okay, step 6 is putting the engine exhaust in the back. There's some nice detail on there that you could use some metal paint on. This goes on, the ventral fin goes on at this stage, and also air brakes go on at this stage, and you can put those in open or closed. And also you put the leading edge of the wings on as well. Step 7 is all about the undercarriage. Some nice detail on the undercarriage legs themselves. You can add a little bit more white to them if you wish to, but they look pretty good on their own. So basically just putting the undercarriage legs together, the wheels, and fitting those in place. Step 8's a pretty short one. All you're doing is adding some undercarriage, struts, looks like undercarriage struts going on, and that's about it really. And then step 9, the final step of the building process, putting some undercarriage doors on, and that's roughly another couple of small parts on, but that's it. And now we go to the Deco Options. Although this is just one aircraft, there's actually 2 Deco Options. All the paints are called out in Mr. Colour and Model Master. Although the aircraft is mostly a gloss white, they give you all the decals. I'll just put the decal sheet up here. You can see there's a lot of decals on here. Platz, do make sure you get every single decal that's on the aircraft. They're definitely going to depth on those, and it'll take you a little while, at least one evening, to get them all in there. The 2 decal options are, as I said, the same aircraft, one from 1983 and one from 1994. And they both are very similar. I think there's just some extra little bits on the 1994 version, but they're both very, very similar. And decals are by Cartograph, so that pretty much means they're going to be very good. And this aircraft will certainly stand out on the shelf with that extra ventral fin. So, overall conclusion, it's a nicely detailed aircraft. Nice recessed panel lines, raised detail where necessary. Instructions seem reasonably straightforward, or the build process seems reasonably straightforward. Instructions are nice and clear. Good quality decals. The fit should be excellent. This is a well-received kit. And all it should be, and it'll certainly look interesting on the shelf with that ventral canard on it as well, and the 2 canards at the front as well. So it's certainly slightly different from any other aircraft you might have on your shelf, and the colour of it could possibly also make it look very different as well, depending what other aircraft you got on your shelf. So many thanks to Platz for sending it along for us to have a look at, and don't forget to subscribe to the video channel if you want to get notified of future videos.